Oh, where do I start? The dread, the dread, the dread. Mother. This is a film. My goodness, buddy. My goodness. Um, Mother, for all of you guys who are young, might be 19, 20, or whatever. Um, if you did not see Black Swan or Requiem for a Dream, or if you did see these films and still don't understand what's going on in either one, ignore this movie. It is made by the same director, David Aronofsky, who seems to be living in another world mentally. And he has a lot of psychological things going on in his head. Uh, this director is very in tune with things in the Bible and trying to bring them out in story using art. Too much art. That if it's done like this, it's applauded, which is very weird that this would be applauded so much. But in other films, if they saw it happen in another film, it'd be like, "Oh my God, I'm outraged." It's just weird how the world works and how people push for what they want. Like you will find a reason to defend the things that you like. But let's get into this movie review. Mother is the Jennifer Lawrence's name in the film. Her name is Mother, which is basically representation of the earth. She's mother of the world. And she's married to Javier Bardem. And his character is driven by admiration and worship. And basically he's playing a some type of celestial being, whether he's evil or malevolent or whatever you want to call it. He's representation of that. As you see a lot of things transpire from the Bible in this film, you'll see Cain and Abel's story. You see a lot of different angles and shots and a lot of disturbing scenes. And it starts off with a husband and wife. He's a poet, a narrator, basically. And they're living in a big, beautiful house in the middle of nowhere. Um, their lives are pretty much, simple. He's struggling to write, nothing we haven't seen before. Then they get interrupted by Ed Harris, who comes in first, and his character comes in and he's like, oh, making himself at home, basically. Then the door rings again, and it's Michelle Pfeiffer, his wife. And these uninvited guests start making themselves at home and start doing a lot of stuff in the house. It's a lot of property damage, a lot of murder. And, their sons show up and things are going down and they won't leave the house. And Jennifer Lawrence, one character, which his mother, wants them to leave. And this this movie is all over the place. I'm trying to say it without telling you the entire film, but there's some things that happen where more and more people are coming over to show admiration after she realizes that she's pregnant. So after she becomes pregnant, things started to change where more and more people are coming over to show worship. And her husband, who's the poet, he's like, yes, this admiration is going on. This is great. And things start getting out of control. People are getting killed in the house. His publicist shows up. He's got all this attention that's coming in now, and they don't want to leave. Everybody is just sticking around, and they're waiting for the baby to be born. It's totally nuts, and people who keep talking about this movie's outstanding, this movie's going to disturb you, and they're saying it with so much admiration to the point where when you're looking at it, it's pretty weird how everything is brought to the forefront in this film. Mother, you're like, can't believe they would do this, and then critics would be like raving over this. I could see why this would be in a limited release, but this is not something you're gonna want to go back and forth to watch again. This is something you disband of. And people either love it really much and say, "Oh, it's a great artful movie," and I get the artist's projection, or other people just say this movie is crap. It's disturbing, too disturbing, and ridiculous. My thing is, this movie is a cluster. Now, the performances are great. Javier Bardem, Jennifer Lawrence, they did their job. There are a couple of shots in the film that just don't work for me, but they got too many close-up shots. All the shots are all up close. He did the same thing in Black Swan. To get the facial reactions and responses, and they're spinning around. You're seeing a lot of shots of Jennifer Lawrence where she has a majority of the entire screen time. And I guess they're trying to say, look, this is Mother, and this is what happens when you don't take care of Mother, which is the earth, and you take it for granted. This is what happens. So I don't want to go into further into the ending because it gets really disgusting in the end. But if I had to give it a honest review, just based off the art and everything else, I give it 2 stars. That's it. Just 2. Never trust Peter Travers from Rolling Stones either. That guy, I don't know what's his motivation, but it's definitely not movies and film. He just, whoever gives him a paycheck, he's gonna put down something for. But other than that, I'm out.